Hello everyone, greetings for our Good News channel viewers. Previously, we were talking about what are emotions and how it can influence us. Today, we will be talking about what emotion which is dysfunctional can cause you. The major terms today or common terms as we can say, which we often speak about or often attribute to ourselves is, don't disturb me, I'm already depressed. Or, I'm already anxious, don't irritate me. Anxiety and depression will be our today's topic. Now, what is anxiety? Anxiety is basically what you anticipate would be a danger. It is not as similar as fear because fear happens when you actually face a threat or a danger. But anxiety, in contrast, allows you to experience the danger feeling that you can have when you have that object. Let's say, for example, that you're scared of cockroaches. When you see it or when you see flying cockroach, you can get scared, and that's fear. But when you think about a flying cockroach, and if you're getting nervous or palpitation or shortness of breath, then that's anxiety. Now, why we shouldn't be anxious about? Because it is not a similar experience that others can have. It is your own personal experience. Example, I might be a person who is scared of heights, but I might not be scared of cockroaches. Whereas you might be scared of cockroaches, even the thought of it can disturb you. This uniqueness about this dysfunction of emotion is very highly important to us. Why? Because it has such an influence on us by either we withdraw or we do something about it. Now, anxiety by the term itself tells you that you are getting scared which is not in front of you. Now, how do we address it or how do we know it is good or bad? Sometimes anxiety is good to you because children who get anxious the previous day before exam make themselves to learn or to read or even to study the subject to prepare themselves for the exams that they have. Or let's say if you have an interview, you're anxious about it. That particular anxiety helps you to prepare yourself for the interview. Now, how do you know it is crossing its limit? When you are unable to do anything about it, then anxiety is an issue. Let's say you freeze when you think about a loss of a loved one, or you get palpitated, or you get shortness of breath. That is when you know that it is out of your limits. Now, why do we get anxious? Sometimes we believe that we deserve to know that we are safe. And sometimes we believe that everything that we have in our life should be in our control. The moment you realize that you can't control a situation or a person, you tend to be anxious. Let's say you have a close relationship or a friend whom you know that they won't leave you, and all of a sudden they have to travel and they did not tell you. What will be the initial experience that you will experience? Either you get so angry or you become anxious when they are not there. Especially a death of a loved one. That causes an immense pressure in you because you all this while have thought that this person will be there for eternity. But all of a sudden, the situation struck the belief that you had, also struck the sense of control that you have been having in that relationship. And why we need to be cautious of our anxiety is because it is not helpful sometimes. And also, it is not appropriate to the situation. Let's say the real threat is not there, like the example of the cockroach. The moment you think of the cockroach which is not existing or physically present in front of you gives you a shiver, and that's not appropriate. The thought of it, the exact thought of that creature, if it grips your heart, then that is anxiety. Or if you're very extremely afraid of something in an irrational way, let's say fear of heights, fear of closed rooms, come what may, fear of something that you always avoid like social contacts, these are caused because of your anxiety. You are afraid to mingle, you are afraid to reach the heights, you are afraid even to think about it in your dreams. Many a times this anxiety makes you be absent in other life aspects. Example, if a child is anxious about going to school, the child miss the friends that the child can have, new education, new interesting topics that the child can learn, or even a childhood memory that the child will cherish. The presence of anxiety will make you to be absent or will stop you from enjoying your life to your own limits. Another thing an anxiety will cause is your colored perceptions. Sometimes the belief that we have, let's say a sense of, in the aspect of sense of control, that my person will not leave me, come what may, or I am good at this job. And all of a sudden, the company asks you to leave that job, you collapse. Why? Because you are so controlled and you manage to control your life. There are times where we need to have a sense of control, and there are times that we need to have hope or to rely on others. An anxious person always tends to have a secure feeling in certain things, and they cannot tolerate uncertain things. Many a times in life, it is because of the uncertainty that we become anxious. There are times we lose our hope not because we are trusting others, but because we are trusting ourselves. As in, we are so confident in us, we allow many things to burden us or to work on it. And another thing anxious tendency will give you or will make you experience is something called somatization. When you're anxious, there are also physiological changes or physiological stimulus that are present in you. It can be palpitation, it can be shortness of breath, sometimes even a burdened feeling in your chest region or heaviness in your shoulders or neck or even back pain. People think that our physical pain is only caused because of physical weariness. Not so. Sometimes your anxiousness, sometimes your sadness, sometimes the emotion of being burdened also affect you in the process called somatization. Somatization is actually you feel the pain in your body, but there is no scientific evidences to prove it. Let's say a person is so anxious that they feel that they are having a heart attack. But when they take the test, every test will be normal. You know why it happened? Because the person is so anxious or the person is so stressful due to an event or an anticipation of a threat. Now, why should we address this issue? Because recently there are umpty number of cases coming up or umpty number of people experiencing this dysfunctional experience. When they work, especially children in their school going age, tell to us that they are anxious when there is no need. But how do they get anxious? Because of the exposure that they are going through or whatever lifestyle they are pertaining to. Anxiety is good but should not go off limits. Now, how do you fight anxiety? First, to know the truth about what you're really anxious of. Let's say cockroach. When a person is getting afraid of cockroach, the person should realize that that person is far more greater in size, far more greater in using their intellectual when compared to cockroach. And also, a cockroach cannot kill that person. It is not a life threat. We call this as cognitive reframing. Understanding the actual situation or actual threat, and also identifying whether the threat is actual threat and not. Also, finding hope, as in it is okay to rely on somebody else, as in God or a medical professional or any other mentor to get guidance or even help. Sometimes standing alone for a longer period of time makes you anxious. It is okay to ask help, it is okay to share your burden, and it is okay to address the issue with the truth. Thank you and hope it is useful to you. Bye-bye.